It's Laura here and welcome to this analysis from April 1st. Now don't forget, with the videos you can pause them at any time. What I like to do is maybe pause at the start of each hand, have a prediction about how you think the bidding should go, and then watch the video and see how that overlaps. Okay, so let's get into it. So board one, our dealer is North. The dealer's always marked up the top here, and North has no points at all, so they're definitely going to pass. East has a 14 count, so they definitely want to open the bidding. They're balanced, but they're not strong enough to open with one no trump, so they should open their longest minor, in this case one club. And when we get to the South hand, they also have 14 points, and they've got a good distribution to make a double. So it's basically their way of overcalling spades and hearts and diamonds. So the requirements for a double, generally they'll want 12 or more points. They'll want at least 3 cards in every other suit, so 3 cards in spades and hearts and diamonds, and 0 to 2 cards in clubs. So they definitely fit those criteria. Now West should simply ignore the double and bid as they would. So here they should bid 1 spade, just telling their partner they've got 4 or more spades and 6 or more points. And at this stage, North's off the hook. They don't have to respond to the double. So if West had actually passed, North would have to bid something because they do need to take out the double, and their correct bid would actually be 1 spade. But because West has bid 1 spade, North doesn't have to make a bid, and they're very happy to pass. Then at this point, East should bid 1 no trump to tell their partner that they're 12 to 14 points in a balanced hand, and they don't have 4 card support for spades. And then at this stage, West knows if partner does have 14 points, they will be likely to make a game contract, but if they've only got 12, then there's no chance of game. So they want to bid 2 no trumps to invite their partner or ask them. Now because East is closer to 14, they should bid 3 no trumps, and that's where the auction should end. A lot of tables got to 3 no trumps, which was good. And in this auction, it's quite interesting because East will know that basically all the points lie with South, or pretty close to all of them. And that's because in the card play, they'll know their partnership has 26 points. That only leaves 14 remaining with the opponents, and South needs to have 12 or more. So they'll basically know that South pretty much has all the points in the card play. Most people that played in 3 no trumps were able to make their contract. And if I was South, I'd probably lead the 5 of hearts, just sort of 4th highest. You could also lead a diamond. So that was board 1. On to board 2. So this time our dealer is East, and East has a 3 count, so they're just simply going to pass. And South's got 15 points in a balanced hand, so they should start off with a bid of 1 no trump. Now as the West player, I'd be bidding 2 clubs. As an overcall at the 2 level, your minimum points that you want to have is sort of about 11. The other thing, overcalling 1 no trump, you can do it, but what I'd say is that if you're going to overcall after 1 no trump has been opened, I generally want to have a 6 card or longer suit. And it's just because you already know there's 15 to 17 points with one player, so, and also a balanced hand. So you need a good reason to overcall, and I generally say usually a 6 card suit or longer, and often some distribution, like here you've got a singleton is nice as well. After the 2 club bid, the North hand has 9 high card points, but they can also actually count 3 shortage points for having a singleton club here. And the reason that they can count those shortage points is that they know that they must have a fit in spades. Because if they've got 6 and their partner's balanced, partner must have 2. So this means that we do have to have a fit in spades. So counting shortage points, it gets them up to about 12 points. After an overcall's been made after 1 no trump, you can't use stamen or transfers or anything, so North should just simply bid 4 spades, which is where the auction should end. And everyone got to 4 spades, which was great to see. Not much you can really do in the defense. East's correct lead here as well, because they're going to be on lead, should be the 10 of clubs. So once your partner's overcalled a suit, you really want to lead it, and from a doubleton you want to lead the top card. On to board 3. So here we've got our dealer as South, and South starts off with a 12-point hand, and they should start with an opening bid of 1 heart because they're not a balanced hand, so they just want to open their longest suit. Now when it gets to West, they've got a nice shape that they could make a takeout double, but unfortunately the hand doesn't have enough high card points. They've only got 8 high card points, so they can't make a double. They should just simply pass. With our North player, they've got a fit for their partner. They've got 10 points, but they should also count on a shortage point as well. putting them up to a higher point range, or sorry, in the 10 to 12 point range. So they should bid 3 hearts to tell their partner this. Now, as South, you might just choose to pass 3 hearts. You can't really count 3 points for having a singleton ace. It's sort of double dipping a little bit. And as it so happens, most people got to 3 hearts or 4 hearts on the hand, which is a nice spot to land in. Okay, on to our next one. So here we have board 4. And for board 4, our dealer is West, and West has only 5 points, so they're going to pass. With this North hand, from the lesson from last week, so they're suitable for a 2-diamond preempt. So this is their way of telling their partner that they've got 6 to about 9 or 10 points, a 6-card diamond suit, and they should have 2 of the top 3 or 3 of the top 5 honours. Now it comes around to our East player. East is a balanced hand. They would have opened the bidding, but when it comes to making an overcall, their hand isn't suitable for anything here. They can't make a takeout double because they don't have 0 to 2 cards in diamonds. They also can't bid 2 no trumps because they don't have 15 or more points. And they can't make a suit overcall because they don't have a 5-card suit. They should actually just pass on this hand. With the South hand, they've got 14 points, but knowing that partner's got sort of 6 to 9, they're not going to have enough for game. So South should pass. If you wanted to make life a little bit harder for the opponents, you could also bid 3 diamonds, and that would just be increasing the level of the preempt. So I think ideally what would happen is that North-South would win the auction in 2 or 3 diamonds, and that's where it'll end. That did happen at a lot of tables. Most people did play it in diamonds by North-South. Alternatively, if East did get to open, they'd probably end up in something like 1 no trump by East-West. On to our next one. So here we have board 5. Our dealer is North, and they've got an unbalanced hand and 17 high card points. They should start off with a 1 club opening, which just promises 3 or more clubs and 12 or more points. Now East can overcall here with a preempt as well. They kind of fit the category that they could make a 1 level overcall, so they could bid 1 diamond. But a nicer bid to make is actually 3 diamonds to tell your partner that you've got 6 to 9 or 10 points, you've got a 7-card diamond suit, and most of your points are in diamonds. So as you can see, this hand does fit both criteria, just making an overcall of 1 diamond and also making a preempt of 3 diamonds. I much prefer the 3 diamond bid. The preempt just makes life that little bit harder for the opponents. If East does bid 3 diamonds, I think South should just simply pass. West should pass that one as well, but when it gets back around to North, now what they can do as the opener is actually make a double. So they can say, partner, I want you to choose between spades and hearts and clubs. When this happens, East will just pass and South should go back to their club suit because partner had opened 1 club and they don't have 4 hearts or 4 spades. So I think the ideal place to end up is 4 clubs by North-South. And if this does happen, this will put our East player on lead, and they've got a nice lead of top of their sequence. So most people did get to 4 clubs, some got to 5 clubs, and the play goes quite straightforward. You will end up being able to take a finesse in spades, but you'll probably end up losing a club, a heart, and a spade most of the time. You can also potentially, if you do get hearts right, you might end up not actually losing a heart trick as well. So 10 or 11 tricks is probably what's going to happen most of the time there in 4 clubs. On to our next one. So here we have board 6 with our dealer as East, who has just a 9-point hand, and they're not suitable for a preempt, so they should just pass by South. And when it gets around to West, they've got a balanced hand, but they're not strong enough to start with 1 no trump. So they pick their longest minor, and in this case it's diamonds. As the North hand, they can overcall 1 heart here. They've got a nice 5-card suit, and they've got a few more points than they need to have, but they should just start off with a bit of 1 heart. East at this stage should pretty much ignore the 1 heart bid. They can bid 1 spade. And South, even though they've got a fit with their partner, they don't have enough points to raise, so they should just pass. As the West player, knowing partner's got 4 spades and 6 points, you want to raise spades, and because you're the opener, you're just raising to the 2 level to say you're sort of 12 to 14 points. At this stage, North's probably done enough work, although they could make a double as well. Now, if they made a double in this position, it's kind of taking everything into context. So they've already overcalled hearts, so South should know their favourite suit's hearts, but they're also showing that they like diamonds and clubs as well. So just because you've overcalled the first time doesn't mean you can't make a takeout double later on. Also, just a note here, because one diamond's been opened by West, more often than not, South will tend towards bidding clubs here. So as this would then continue on, East's hand, they do only have 9 high card points, but they could count, basically get rid of the points for having a jack of hearts and instead count 3 points for having a singleton heart. So this would bring them up to 11, and also having a doubleton diamond gives them 1 bonus point. That'd get them up to 12. I'd be tempted to actually invite partner to game here with the wet East hand. And at that stage, West might choose to just pass, or they might choose to bid 4 spades. Because basically, partner said, if you're closer to 12, I don't want to be in game. If you're closer to 14, I do. West is in the middle, so you could either give it a go or not. I'd probably tend towards giving it a go, but up to you. So here, East-West will probably win the auction in some number of spades, which is what happened at most tables. On to our next one, so board 7. Here we've got our dealer as South. South should just start off with a 1 heart bid. Even though they've got that really nice suit, they don't start off with a preempt because they've got too many points. At this stage, our West player can make an overcall of 2 diamonds now. And when this happens, North still can bid at the 2 level, but only because they've got 10 or more points. They do need to have 10 points to introduce a suit at the 2 level. So here what they should do is bid 2 spades. Even though their spade suit is worse than their club suit, it's basically because we'd prefer to bid a major rather than a minor. Also, don't forget, bidding clubs, you'd have to do it at the 3 level. And after this, when it comes back around to South, I'd be pretty tempted to bid 4 hearts. Now, the reason for this, we don't need any support in hearts for our partner to be happy with hearts being trumps. With a 7-card suit yourself, you're pretty happy for them to be trumps. And then the next thing I'd think is, if partner needed 10 points to bid 2 spades, that should probably get the extra 2 tricks that I need. So I'd be assuming I can win 7 tricks in hearts, plus 1 trick in diamonds, and I'd be hoping that my partner for their 10 points can give me 2 extra tricks. So I think 4 hearts by South is where we should end up. Most people got to hearts, making somewhere between 11 and 13 tricks. The best lead East-West can actually do is the ace of spades. When you've got an ace-king, it's usually a good lead to make against a suit contract. And the reason for this is that you lead out the ace, then you can see dummy and you can figure out what card you want to play next. So that was board 7. So board 8, here we've got our dealer as West, who's got a balanced hand with 12 points, so they can't open 1 no trump. They should pick their longest minor, so in this case 1 club. As the North player, you can then overcall with a preemptive bid. Again, this is a situation where you could just bid 1 spade, you fit the criteria for an overcall, but a 4 spade preempt, if you've ever got the option of preempting or overcalling, normally the preempt is much more powerful. So this says to partner, I've got 6 to 9, maybe 10 points. I've got an 8-card spade suit. Most of my points are going to be in spades, so you should have quality control with 2 of the top 3 or 3 of the top 5. Now this makes life really, really tricky for our East player. And we haven't gotten into this too much, but this hand just really illustrates how powerful preempts are. Because now East knows that they've got enough points for game with their partner, because partner's got 12 to open the bidding, but now they have to make their bid at the 5 level or higher. Basically, East doesn't want to pass here. I'd probably double as East. And one thing we haven't really spoken about is if the auction's at the game level. So here, 4 spades is a game contract. Doubles shouldn't actually be a takeout double. So they shouldn't be asking your partner to bid something. What they're generally used for is changing the scoring. So here, it's basically East's way of saying, I don't think you can make 4 spades. So that's if a game contract's being bid. But looking at the analysis, we had most people end up playing in 4 spades and they go down, but that's a much better score than letting East-West play in a heart contract, because East-West can actually make 4 hearts. And if we East-West do get to 4 hearts, they're going to score 420 or 450 points. But actually defeating 4 spades, they only get to win basically 100 points. So this is why preempts are so powerful. They do make life difficult for the opponents. On to board 9. So this one, our dealer is North. North doesn't have enough points to open and should pass. Neither does East. And when it comes around to South, they've got a balanced hand and a 12 count. They'd normally open their longest minor, but when they're equal length here, they should start off with 1 club. As the West player, they've got a nice 1 spade overcall, a 5 card suit with most of their points being in spades, and they'll fit the general idea of what partner's expecting, sort of about 11 to 15 points in a good 5 card suit. As the North player, normally you would have to make a bid here. You don't have to once the opponents have overcalled, but it is a nice idea if you can make a bid. So North can actually raise to 2 clubs, because even if South's only got 3, they do have a fit. So I'd raise to 2 clubs as North. Then at this stage, East also has a fit with spades, so they want to raise their partner. And they could even raise to 3 spades to show that they had sort of, I guess, a hand that nearly could have opened the bidding. Now, if this happens, West, knowing that their partner's got couldn't even open the bidding, they're probably just going to pass, and I think that's where the auction should end. So I think East-West should win out with their spades, although at some tables North-South did win out with clubs, so they got to play in clubs instead. So yeah, this is one where it's a bit of a tussle with the points being roughly divided evenly, and that's often what happens. The one side will have a fit and compete in one suit, and then the other side will compete in the other suit. So here we've got clubs versus spades. A lot of the time spades does win out because it sort of is the boss suit. On to board 10. Not too many people got to play this one, but here our dealer is East, and they don't have enough points to open and should just pass. South, with their 15 count, they're not balanced, so they should open 1 spade rather than 1 no trump. As the West player, they can make an overcall here. They're too strong to make a preempt, and they don't have enough in the suit to make a preempt. They need to have 7 cards to bid to 3 hearts, but they can just overcall 2 hearts. Now at this stage, North's going to raise spades. They're just going to raise to 2 spades, and I think the East player should probably take the push and bid 3 hearts. Ideally, they'd like an extra point or 2, but they do want to show their partner that they're happy to compete a little. And again, this is a hand similar to the last one. The points are roughly evenly split, and it's going to come down to who gets to win it. South might choose to compete to 3 spades. One thing that I don't like about the South hand is that Queen of Hearts. In this auction, because both players have bid hearts for the opposing side, your Queen of Hearts probably isn't going to be worth the high card points that you're accounting for it. So it's probably just as good as being the 2, because you know that it's going to get gobbled up by the Ace and the King. So at this stage, South might compete to 3 spades. They might just pass. As you can see by the results, we had a couple of people in spades and someone got to play hearts as well. On to board 11. So this one, our dealer's South. They've just got to pass. West also has a hand that should pass. And as an unbalanced hand, North should start off with 1 spade. So with this one, our East player has a hand that can overcall. When you've got a choice of 2 suits to overcall, because you've got hearts and clubs, you could overcall either of them because you've got 5 of them. Generally pick the major rather than the minor, so I'd start off here with 2 hearts. Now at this stage, our South player, they can raise their partner if they count shortage points, and they get to basically worth 8 points, so they should raise to 2 spades. And at this stage, West has a fit in hearts and can also raise up to 3 hearts. And again, this one's going to be a bit of a tussle. I think North-South will win out. If I was North, I'd potentially just give 4 spades a go at this point. And basically that's evaluating the fact you've got 15 high card points and also counting a shortage point. So a lot of the time you will be able to make game. If you have a look at the analysis here, this is a really strange board where what happens is that North-South, if they declare the hand and they play it to the best way you possibly can, they can make a 4 spade contract. But also East-West, they can actually make a 4 heart contract their way. It's what we call a double game swing. Now, the idea with these sorts of hands is it's usually an example of quite a distributional layout. So as we can see, both sides have singletons, and generally this means that there's a lot of tricks floating around. There's also highly competitive auctions. Now onto the last one, board 12. Here we've got our West player as the dealer, and West should start off with a 1 club bid, just a balanced hand that's not strong enough to open or start off with an opening of 1 no trump. And here our North hand fits the criteria for a double in the sense that it's got 12 or more points, it's got 0 to 2 cards in clubs, and at least 3 cards in all the other suits. But there's one thing that it doesn't fit, and that's that we don't like to have a 5-card major suit. So here is the North hand. You should actually probably overcall 1 spade rather than making a double. The rationale behind that is double says, I don't care what suits trumps, you choose partner. When you've got a 5-card major suit, you'd much prefer to make an overcall, which is basically a suggestion of what suit should be trumps. Now after this happens, our East player can raise clubs, because even if West has 3, they'll still have a fit. And our South player can then raise spades. So again, another competitive one where the points are going to be roughly evenly split. And I'd say that North-South will probably end up winning out in 3 spades or something like that. But West, knowing that their partner should have 5 clubs for raising them, might want to compete on to 3 clubs. And we're just going to have this sort of a tussle. As you can see, spades often does end up winning out. So they were our boards from Monday the 1st of April, where we had a look at preempts and overcalls. I hope you enjoyed this video analysis, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.